And what's up, everyone? Welcome to the top of Partington Hall here on the beautiful Hillside campus of Nye College. My name is Brad. I'm a station manager here at WNYK 88.7 FM, the home of Warrior Radio. I'm psyched today because live in studio is the local band called Back From Nothing. First things first, guys. Welcome to the studio, and we appreciate y'all making the trip in.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, thanks for doing this. They all are an alternative rock band from Westchester, New York. They play with bands such as Makeout, Assuming We Survive, The Cardboard Swords, Grayling, and The Battle of Los Angeles. At this time, they just released their second full-length album, which was mixed by themselves and mastered by Andy Casella at Shape Recording. They released a music video for the single New Logic, we're going to talk about. And it was, I believe the new album was released December 13th, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool. That's exciting. With one heck of a stage and online presence, the guys are getting ready to cut deep into the industry for a second time. So first things first, guys, we have to kind of move this mic around. So if you're listening, just be patient. If you could introduce yourselves individually and the role that you play in the band.
Yeah. Awesome. My name's Marlon. I'm the bassist for the band. So yeah.
My name's Vinny. I play lead guitar.
Cool.
My name's Nick, and I sing and I do rhythm guitar.
And I'm Will. I play drums. That's it.
I wanted to ask you guys about the band name, Back From Nothing. Who came up with that? Was it like the first choice to take a while? I always get curious how bands get their name, the signature sign.
Yeah, it's definitely one of these things where you have to get a good name in order to be somewhat appealing to a crowd. So we started off playing in different projects before earlier on in our careers through high school, and like there wasn't ever anything catchy that came along, and one day like I think we just hit rock bottom with that band and realized we weren't really going to get anywhere. So it was Back From Nothing from then. So, and it was the name, it just stuck. We said it in band practice one day and it
just stuck.
It just stuck.
Yeah, it's funny. How did you guys all meet, come together as a band?
Well, we all went to high school together.
Oh, cool.
Nick and Will are brothers, so they obviously met a long time before the rest of us did, but we went to high school together, and we just started hanging out, you know, after school and stuff like that.
Yeah, me and William, we met when William was born.
Okay, how did you all get, this kind of a question for everybody. I'm curious about your journey as a musician. How did you guys each get started in music? Was it something that, you know, passed down from family, or was it creative outlet individually for you guys? What's the story there?
Well, for me, it was mostly like they asked me, "Hey, we need a bassist," and I pretended that I knew how to play bass. So that the night before that, I went out to Guitar Center, picked up my first bass. Yeah, had them completely. They bought it that I played bass, and so here we are. What is it? 5-6 years later,
That's
and
funny.
Yeah, now I actually play bass. So exactly.
So pretty much self-taught.
Exactly. Yeah.
So for me, I think throughout my childhood, there was always music playing in the house. Like, you know, those music choice channels. There was always either classic or hard rock playing, and I just the guitars in particular stood out to me, and I wanted to know how to do it. I wanted to play it. So when I was 10, my parents got me that Fender Squier kit that comes with the amp, the little.
Oh, that's cool.
I still have that guitar, but that's what got me started. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, what got me started was Guitar Hero, and I was really good at it for no reason. And then my mom worked at C-Note Music School, and she got like half off the lessons. So one of us was gonna play the guitar, and one of us was gonna play the drums. And so that's how it started, like 13 years ago. And then it was always something that I was naturally good at compared to everything else I was just not that great at. And this was something that just came very natural for me.
Cool.
So that was that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Nick. We went to music school together. We did recitals and stuff like that. I remember playing Eye of the Tiger with him once. That was like our first.
Oh, that's funny.
With no singing.
Yeah, it was so cool though.
That's such a classic sound, too. Yeah. Everybody knows that, right? You hear that riff, and it's like,
I think I was like 7 and he was 10.
Oh, that's funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Songwriting in the group, I always get curious about that. Is it an individual, a singular songwriter, or is it collaborative, or a mix of everything?
So it's a mix of everything.
Yep.
Typically what happens is I'll feel a certain way and I'll write the guitar, And then if like my brain's running, like just keeps thinking about things,
Yeah.
I'll write the lyrics that way.
Cool.
And then I'll basically have like a skeleton like structure of the song in a sense, and then I'll bring it to my brother and he'll play the drums on it, and then me and him will be able to play it, and then we'll bring it to Marlon and Vinny.
I see.
And then we'll usually I'll sit down with each of them and they'll write. Everyone writes their own parts, but I just kind of bring it to them, and then it becomes like a more complex thing. I'm very stubborn sometimes about what can and can't happen, but I'm learning to like be more open.
Is he stubborn,
about
guys?
it.
No.
Yeah.
It's
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's one of those. I guess it's one of those things where you kind of have to be.
Yeah.
You know, in order
Absolutely.
to create really good music,
Yeah.
you have to, you know, be a little stubborn in that sense. But that's where creativity comes from, and that's
Yeah.
where our music is coming from. Just straight creativity from every single one of us, putting it together and creating something huge.
Do you guys have a certain inspiration for songwriting? Is it like we've talked to artists that I always say this too. They get woken up at 3 a.m. and have to write notes on their phone, or they sit out in nature. They let life write itself. How does that work, or is it kind of fluid?
Yeah, for lyrics, it's definitely what you first said. Like I'll be like that's how we wrote a song called Lone Wolves. Like
Yep.
I straight up it was like 2 a.m. and I could not sleep and I wrote that song. But when it comes to songwriting in general, the influence for me was I never had a good voice. I didn't start out with, I still don't consider myself having a great voice.
Yeah.
Brian Sella from the Front Bottoms, he was making it big at the time, and now he's signed to Fueled by Ramen. And when he started making his music and it was big, his voice was different. And I understood that as long as you were passionate about what you were doing and you were in key,
Yeah.
then you were able to do whatever you want. So I kind of do a talk singing thing, and that kind of inspired me to go, hey, I can do this. Because for the longest time, I was like, I can't because I can't sing.
Yeah.
But that's just not true. I don't know. You guys have any inspiration for writing?
Not necessarily for me. I just kind of hit a note, make it sound good, and then it's just
That's
that.
fair. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess a lot of it is, you know, Nick, like you said, he'll come to us with a rhythm piece for like the skeleton of the song.
I
It's
see.
just, I don't know. I have fun trying to come up with a lead that sits nicely within what he's written.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I
don't make it easy.
try to switch around a couple things every now and then because, you know, I don't know. It's just he tends to write in a very dynamic way. He covers a lot of ranges.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes it hard to sit a lead in nice, but when you figure it out, it pays off for sure.
Yeah.
How did Broken Dreamer come to be? Because we're about to hear that. But before we do, what's the inspiration behind it?
So Broken Dreamer, the riff I had, like the beginning, the verse riff, I had for a long time, and it was just something that I kept playing like for fun.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it felt easy to write. And then eventually, with the lyrics and just things going on at the time, it just when you feel really, really low and struggling, because this entire process is like a struggle. Like where we come from, there's a lot of cover bands, and you basically don't get paid. They don't want you to play because they want you to play covers, which isn't how an original band gets anywhere.
Yeah, of course.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, there isn't really a great music scene where we're from.
Yeah.
And it's just not really cool that, you know, like think of it this way: did Led Zeppelin like start with covers? Did all those bands back in the day go to bars and play covers? No, they played their original music, and people tried to support them with the original music.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people do support us, but what I'm trying to get at is that Broken Dreamers kind of just being so fed up with working hard and making original music, and people just wanting you to like play covers, or people
Yeah.
saying
No,
that
it
you
makes
need to get a
sense.
full-time job and like things like that. It's just so sickening that
Yeah.
like I needed to make a song that represented how I felt, I guess.
So here, guys, this is Broken Dreamer from Back From Nothing, and we'll be back to learn more about their journey as musicians right after this. But first, Broken Dreamer, and you're listening to WNYK 88.7 FM, the home of Warrior Radio. Good tune, guys.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Someone talk about the transition.
Yeah, that was Broken Dreamer from Back From Nothing. We are back here, guys. I want to talk about favorite musicians and why they are your favorite. What sticks out to them with that?
Okay, so my all-time favorite band is a band called Tiny Moving Parts. They're a math rock band from the Midwest, and a lot of people don't respect them. I don't know why.
I respect
I
them.
love them.
It's just
So the guitarist, it's only a 3-piece.
Yeah.
They're a family band, so it's 2 brothers and a cousin. And the guitarist does a lot of cool tapping stuff with his guitar, and then the drummer just goes absolutely crazy on the drums. So I really look up to them.
I have not heard of them. What are they called?
Tiny Moving Parts.
Yeah, I'll have to look them up.
Yeah, they're really cool. They have a lot of energy live and on the records too.
Yeah.
So I really look up to them for the energy.
What about you guys? Favorite musicians? And it can be growing up. It can be old stuff too.
All right. Old stuff. My favorite guitarist probably is Hendrix.
Yeah, of
but
course.
new
Yeah.
yeah, but new stuff. Like I said, the Front Bottoms, they're great. Modern Baseball is great. Sorority Noise is great. Brand New. All those bands are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, initially it was Green Day. Like I said, when I got the guitar, that's the first thing that I started doing. Pretty quickly, I'd say within the first couple of years, I could play every song that they ever released on rhythm guitar, because they're all. I mean, once you know one, you could play all of them. You know what I mean? It's not really anything spectacular, but it lit me up, and
Yeah.
that's what got me going. So.
So you'll always have kind of a place for Green Day. It
Yeah,
sounds like just because
definitely.
of how it started. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely got like a very late start to this whole like genre of music.
Yeah.
I will never really like listen to it except for like Fall Out Boy growing up and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But lately, I've really been getting into this band called Delta Sleep, who are just insane. Like do some of the most
I'll have to
insane.
look them up too.
Yeah.
I do not know them.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
awesome. It's crazy time signatures. Their bassist is insane. But there's also this other band called Feed Me Jack. We really like transitions and getting transitions flowing between 2 songs. And Feed Me Jack, they have this EP called Anatolia, and it's probably single-handedly the best EP that has ever been
Cool.
created. The best transitions all around. It's just amazing.
I like when bands do that though too, because it's sort of like a story, right? An album, which I guess we'll get into later, but it is true. I feel like a song should transition into another one, and not a lot of people do that. Okay, this can be tough. Favorite musical memory.
Ooh.
And like we've had people, not to give you guys some help, but we've had people mention like concerts they've been to. We've had people mention something they performed in, a venue, their first recital. Maybe they weren't even good, but it's something they close their eyes and they think about.
Well, for me, I instantly, whenever you say that, it just brings me back to a certain place, and it was when we saw Brand New, the Front Bottoms, and Modern Baseball all together in one show, and it was like my 3 favorite bands at that point in time, and they all played together. So it was just like a relieving point in my life where I was like, oh, I can do this.
What show was
I can
that?
Get this done. This was like it was at the Toyota Center in like Connecticut.
okay.
Yeah, it was.
I see.
Yeah, it was there. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like 2 years ago. Yeah.
I think right around the same time when I first got my guitar, my parents took me to a Metallica concert
Oh, that's
when I lived in
That'll do
Florida, and it was during the Death Magnetic tour, and it was just insane. Like
No, I've
the
heard they're, like,
production was
nuts live.
crazy,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think that probably really sealed it for
Yeah.
me. It was absolutely crazy. Yeah.
So for me, it's 2 things. I have a lot of anxiety, and in high school
Yeah.
it was really, really bad. So for me,
Oh, high school. I still like shiver when.
so for me, it was hard to go out and do things on my own.
Yeah.
And the band that I fell in love with in high school, like I said, was the Front Bottoms,
Mm-hmm.
and they were playing in Brooklyn, and it was like 100+ venue maybe, like
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, very intimate.
Yeah. And me and my girlfriend at the time, I took her and we went like on a train and in a cab, like through the subway, and we went there and got there, and I watched the show, and it was just like such an achievement for me
Yeah,
to be able to
yeah.
do. And then when I went there, I was like, yeah, I want it. I want to do that. That's what I want to do. So it's definitely that memory. The best show memory we've ever had
Yeah.
was another, like, for me, it's every time I like am scared to do something, feel like I can't, there's no way I could play or I
Yeah.
can't do it. And I was like really sick, and we played at Amityville Music Hall, and we were down our lead guitarist. We had a keyboard player fill in. This was like 3 years ago.
Oh, man.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was 100 people at
Yeah.
the show. And so I went up there, I wrote my set list on a tissue box, and I played, and just being able to do that made me feel like I could do
You could do anything,
more,
yeah.
you know.
Very cool.
My favorite and earliest musical memory was when I was back in music school at C Note where we went, and they had like the recitals for like Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
And I played War Pigs on the drums.
Yeah.
I felt like
Yeah.
I felt like a legend.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, I'm the best drummer ever. And I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. That was it.
That's cool. I like the imagery there is awesome too. Thinking of this like 8-year-old pounding dwarf. We got to talk about this new album. Someone Say Something. The inspiration behind it, and also, if you could talk about, somebody can take this, the emotions that must go behind releasing an album. From somebody who I'm not musically talented at all, but I feel like there must be some vulnerability and emotions, right, when you release something?
Yeah, it's so many emotions.
Yeah.
Like, we've been sitting on this album since the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But we wanted to perfect it, and we wanted this release to hit as many people as possible. So the emotions right now of finally being released is just like we took a giant boulder off
Oh,
our
I'm sure.
shoulders,
Yeah.
and now we're just ready to go out and show the world that we're gonna be successful.
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing about this album that was very different from the ones previous was one, we have Vinny now, and Vinny has been like a great like solid person. You know, before we weren't able to rely on certain
Well,
people.
yeah, you want you
and
need reliability.
Vinny's very reliable.
Yeah.
And he's really good at what he does, and it really helped when he came in and he had, because he came in with a fresh mindset and was like, hey, we should do things this way.
Yeah.
We should try and do things, you know what I mean? Because we've been doing it the same way for so long.
Yeah.
And so when we did this new album, that really helped. Marlon got much better on the bass.
Yeah.
Much better. And my brother got really into different time signatures, different tempos, very weird accents, math rock stuff.
Yeah.
And I strayed away from playing just chords, and I started doing things rhythmically.
Yeah.
Also, we had about 3 or 4 years of recording experience at this point and mixing experience. We have a studio at our house. We built a vocal
That's
booth in
awesome.
it and things like that, and we recorded it. And I have a mentor, like Andy, the guy who mastered it.
Yeah.
He was mentoring me on how to do it properly on my own because we couldn't really afford to pay a studio. So we did all recording and mixing all ourselves, and then we went to him for mastering, and he did a great job. Our next album, when we do decide to do a next album,
Yeah.
we do want to do it all professionally. You know what I mean? As best we can. This album, I think it's really important for us, and it's a big stepping stone for us.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about where people can find it. Social media, upcoming shows where people, if they want to find your music, where they can, if they heard, some of their music before and they're curious, all that stuff. Just basically plug where we can find your stuff, guys.
Everything, you can search Back From Nothing
Yeah.
everywhere. So Instagram is at Back From Nothing.
Okay.
Facebook is Back From Nothing.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play. Twitter. Yeah, maybe Twitter. You could go on YouTube and look up our music video for New Logic. We have a bunch of other live videos too on there.
Cool.
So yeah, everything is just Back From Nothing.
Yeah, and if you guys could talk about, we talked off air during the break about an upcoming show. You could
Yeah,
mention that.
we're playing this Saturday, December 21st.
Yeah.
December 21st at the Bitter End.
Oh,
in New York
that's
City.
such a great. Have you guys
Yeah.
played there before?
No.
That's our
it's
first
our
time.
first
That's like such a historic.
Yeah.
Like people who don't even know music that well hear the bitter end and they're like,
Yeah, we're excited. Yeah,
We're
we
really excited.
we're going on at like 10 or 10:30.
Yeah.
So it's a good time slot too. Yeah.
that's cool. What day of the week is that?
It's a Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yeah,
This
so that's
Saturday.
like-
Saturday night. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah,
I'm
really-
telling you guys, if you're listening to this and you're close to the city, the bitter end, even just that iconic font, like I'm picturing seeing that on the stage. Bitter end, that's a good spot to go, guys.
Yeah, and we've been just branching out lately
Yeah.
to a lot of different venues, and it's just, I don't know, it feels weird having this much support from not only like the people that have been listening to our music, but like our friends, families. Like
Yeah.
we have finally like, it feels like we're actually in a band where we always have a show lined up, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we have like like Yonkers. Like
Yeah.
there's a music scene that's starting up there, and it's really nice because it's 45 minutes from our house, which is really cool. Because before we had to drive to New Jersey, like
I see.
Long Island, the city, yeah, at least an hour or two just to play a show. So we're just really happy that things are starting to happen.
Yeah.
and it's just really nice.
Yeah,
it's nice.
get the connections in the tri-state area.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to talk about this music video for New Logic because we were talking even before off air. You could tell you guys had fun with that. Like it was a fun video.
Yeah. So
And a balloon popping too, I heard.
yeah. So here, you talk about it.
Well, I mean, all right. So we just wanted to have a bunch of balloons flying around everywhere. I don't know. It's just a visual thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of crazy. Yeah. We filmed it at Rob's place. that kid puts on shows in his basement,
Oh.
and it's crazy. I've never seen anything like
Like
it.
good shows?
You
Like
pull up,
house
it's like
shows and-
yes,
Great shows.
yes.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
it's like you pull up to the venue, and it's like, oh, we're here, and then you look, and it's a residential house in a residential neighborhood,
Awesome.
and then you go in the basement, and it's small, it's cramped. There's not that much space. There's stuff everywhere. There's a transmission from a car sitting
Yeah.
on the side of the room, like.
But it's the best bands, best
But it's like
best
it's like the coolest
Yeah.
place to play. It's awesome, and that's why we wanted to play it there, because it's just very small, intimate. Like, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun to record that.
Yeah, it was one of those things where we just packed everybody up in the basement. We were like, hey, we're recording a
Awesome.
music video, and let's just do it. And
Yeah.
everybody got super excited with it, got super involved, so they were super useful with it.
Yeah.
The best part about Rob's Place was when Vinny joined, right?
Yeah.
The first experience was Rob's Place, and it was just such a good. I was so happy because I was like, oh, thank God, he's gonna think that like we don't suck.
Is it like, go ahead.
And it was just, yeah, like he said, like, dude, bands came from like California, from freaking
Yeah.
Texas, like they came and they're coming in a van, like
Yeah.
like driving like to this kid's house to play in an apartment, like.
Is it
so
known as
small.
Rob's Place?
Rob's
Yeah,
Place.
it's Rob's
Dude,
Place.
I don't know if he's still doing shows there. Rob, like if he's listening, or Ernie, Rob
Yeah.
and Ernie, if they hear us, like they helped us so much,
Oh, yeah.
so much. Yeah, Ernie's doing something with Damn Straight Entertainment. I
Yeah.
think that's what they call it. But it was just these kids get together. They don't know who you are, and
Yeah.
they're listening and they love it. And New Paltz actually has like a bunch of house shows that are doing the same thing, similar
Yeah.
vibe. But that place in New Jersey was a big. That's why we wanted to film the music video.
Yeah, what
there.
place is it? I know it's Rob's Place. But
It's
what-
literally
where is it?
Rob's Place. It's in Union. It's in
Oh,
Union,
Union,
New
okay.
Jersey.
I
Yeah,
see.
and it's just
Yeah.
it's his house.
Yeah, that'd be
or it
funny.
was his house. It's amazing. It's just
Yeah.
phenomenal. I don't know if he's still doing shows out of there, but it was such an amazing experience.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing experience.
Before we hear it, the inspiration behind New Logic, because it's a great song.
Yeah. So New Logic. So when you're a songwriter, and you're writing and you're trying to write guitar pieces or whatever you're trying to write.
Yeah.
You get caught up in between this like conundrum of is everyone gonna like this? Should I make this more likable to a general audience,
Yeah.
or should I make this more more likable for me as a piece of art? And it got to a point where I was so stressed out over even what like these guys would say about it. Not that they say anything bad about it, but just like like being critiqued for it, that I just wrote. And I was like, all right, I'm not bringing this to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write it. No one's gonna hear it, and I'm just gonna do it however I want. And I did, and I wrote that lead, the intro lead you'll hear. And when I only had it playing once. When I brought it to them, they were like, yeah, we need to play that like more in
Awesome.
the song. And then they kind of built the song. Basically, this is probably the one song where they built like most of it. Honestly, the most out of any other of my songs that I wrote for them. And the meaning of New Logic is like, if you ever watch the news, it's disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
And it's terrible.
Talk
and
about anxiety.
yeah,
Right?
there's literally nothing
Yeah.
good about the
Yeah.
news. I don't watch the news. My mom watches it all the time
Yeah.
and swears by it, and I can't stand it. And they wonder where kids get mental illnesses from,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at it, and basically I have this whole monologue at the end that you'll hear, and it just basically, I think, explains exactly what's going on.
And then they usually end they have like 29 minutes of depressing stuff, and then they're like, and here's two puppies cuddling.
Yeah.
It's supposed
Yeah.
to fix everything.
No, I totally get
No,
it.
it's terrible. That's
Yeah.
that's what the song, the end of the song specifically, that's what it's about.
So, guys, we're about to hear New Logic from Back from Nothing. Before I let you guys go, one more time, the show on Saturday. Mention it.
Yep,
One more
the
time.
show on Saturdays at the Bitter End, New York City.
Telling you guys, great venue.
It's gonna be great.
You said around 10ish, 10:30,
Around 10:30, but the show starts, I think, at around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands playing. It's gonna be a fun.
And they're
night.
great. I'm telling you, if they're at the bitter end, they're a great
Yeah,
band.
thank you.
Back from Nothing, guys. Always welcome back.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
us.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
our pleasure. And here's New Logic, and you're listening to WNYK 88.7 FM, the home of Warrior Radio.